Hello everyone, Ty Boy here, and we are back creating another tier list, and this time we are creating a Mega Man tier list with the one and only Scott Anderson. Scott, how are you doing today?
Good, man. I am excited. Mega Man is like my favorite game series of all time, so I am ready to do this.
Yeah, I know I've heard Mega Man talk come out of you while we're at E3 and things like that, and
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever touched a Mega Man game, but
Oh my gosh.
yeah, I know.
That's embarrassing for you. That's a big gap in your gaming resume, man. You got to get that sorted.
Yeah, and I think Mega Man makes me feel kind of young looking at all the release dates, like
Yeah.
1987 for Mega Man 1. That's kind of crazy. But
Yeah. I was 2 years old, so I've been around
oh
for the whole
geez.
series.
Yeah, so that's kind of crazy if you think about it before the glory days of Mario. But anyways, we we are going to start off this tier list with F, the F tier, which is not a great tier at all. You shouldn't be proud if you're there. So, Scott, do you have anything in this F tier?
Yeah, so I want to start this off by saying the Mega Man franchise, especially like the 1 through 11, like we're doing right now, uh, some of my favorite games. But for the sake of tier listing it, I do have one that dropped down into the F category, and
Oh,
it hurts my heart to do this. But the original Mega Man
wow,
One,
the
is
OG,
yeah, is in
the
the F category. And
OG.
this is compared to all the other games, all right? So I think they're all above average. But if we're looking at all 11 games, the first Mega Man is an F category. I mean, it did start things off, so I got to give it props for that. But six bosses on like the normal eight,
Yeah,
and then just kind of getting the mechanics down. Uh, the music, which the Mega Man series I think is well known for, is not particularly my favorite. So some of the visuals and stuff, like not quite there yet. But so again, like it hurts me so much. But
yeah.
I gotta have at least one in the F tier. So the original Mega Man, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, but that's where we have to start off.
Dang, that's a shame. No, a Mega Man 1 released December 17th, 1987 for the NES for those that were wondering. Yeah, so that's kind of crazy. But anyways, going on to Mega Man or going on to Ed, did you
the
have anything else for
the
the F tier or
D's.
no, that's it?
No, that
Oh,
was it for the F tier. Yeah,
okay, so we're going on to the D tier. Sorry for that.
yeah,
So
yeah.
what
No,
do
that's
we
okay.
have anything here?
Yeah. So I've got two games, two Mega Man games in the D tier. The first one I'm going to mention, Mega Man 8. So
Mega Man 8.
Mega Man 8. So that was the PlayStation 1 uh, game. That's where it originally released, and it was doing some stuff. I think it tried to kind of continue on from Mega Man 7 a little bit, some of the same mechanics. I just the bosses didn't catch me. The music to me wasn't as great. And again, when we're comparing all of these to each other, Mega Man 8 just wasn't really doing it for me. And I think, you see a really a long time between when Mega Man 8 was released and when Mega Man 9 was released. And
Yeah.
I think one of the big reasons for that is because 8 itself was not a particularly great game in my opinion.
Yeah, so yeah, the gap between some of these Mega Man games is crazy. Mega Man 8, you would think it might have released in the early 2000s or whatever. It released December 17th, 1996 for Sega Saturn and PlayStation. That's based on the research I've done. I think it launched in
Yep.
Japan earlier, but I
Yeah.
know like back then, like Japan launches happened earlier than over here in North America. Like, that was always a
Yep.
common thing when
Yep.
Capcom did. But Capcom loved to release Mega Man games in December for some reason. I don't get it, but
Holiday time, man.
yeah.
Got to capitalize on the holidays.
That is true. Now, do we have another one for the D tier or no?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
no,
So we
this
do
is
have another
not
one in the
good.
D tier, and it's going to be Mega Man 6. So,
Mega
Me-
Man 6.
yeah, so Mega Man 6 was the last game released on the original Nintendo on the NES, and like it's hard to put it in the D tier because I thought it did a lot of things like pretty well, but I think the time it was released made it like difficult because we were like at this point in time we were moving from the NES to the SNES, and I think that um, maybe the focus wasn't quite there for Mega Man 6 like it could have been. And I mean, you're also getting really, really close at this point to the release of Mega Man X. So I
Mm.
think even at Capcom, they were probably moving on a little bit from the OG Mega Man series into the X series. Which, my gosh, if Mega Man is not in your like to-do list for gaming, the Mega
Yeah.
Man X series, especially 1 through 3, are some of the best games out there. So,
Mm.
so I think maybe they took their eye off the ball a little bit with Mega Man 6, but again, I mean, it's still a great game. You'll still have lots of fun with it. But for this list, it falls down to the D tier for me.
Yeah, the good news for Mega Man 6 is not in the F tier. And to be clear, I don't think I meant I don't think I mentioned it earlier. This is a Mega Man 1 through 11 list, not like, all the other Mega Man games.
Right,
So
right.
there's
Because
a ton out
man,
there.
yeah, let's say if we were doing that list, this video would be about an hour and a half long. We don't have that kind of time.
Yeah, it's almost like if you did Persona, but that's for another day.
Hey, I'm on that one. You let me know when we're doing that list. I'll be
Yeah.
back.
Oh yeah, I will be there. And so are we done with the D tier? Or we
Yeah,
still have
yeah.
more bad news? Okay.
No, that's it for the D tier for me.
Okay. So on to C. Now
Yeah.
we're
So
starting to get into the good territory, I would say.
yeah. So these I've got two games in the C tier, and I both of these games are good. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with them per se, but
Hmm.
they don't reach the excellence of your S and A tier stuff. So the first one in the C tier for me is Mega Man 7.
Mega.
So this was the first one released on the Super Nintendo, and I think like changing graphics for me from your 8-bit wonder on the NES to your 16-bit on the SNES, that was a little bit jarring for little kid me. And but I still think it had some of the best stages in the original series of Mega Man. So it did some things pretty well. But to me, it was just kind of like a middle of the pack kind of. It was good but not great kind of a game.
All right. And what's the second game we've got going here?
Yes, yes. So second game on the C tier for me is Mega Man 4. Mega Man 4. So with this one, it was actually interesting because it introduced the Mega Buster, which is like your charge shot. Which again,
Hmm.
you don't know this because you haven't played
Yeah.
Mega Man, which still
I'm
uh,
very
I'm still reeling from that
I
revelation. But
wait, I should say, Mega Man and Super Smash Bros. I've played.
okay,
So
no, man, no,
there you go.
don't,
That doesn't
no,
count. Okay.
no, no, it doesn't count. But no, Mega Man 4. So, you had your slide that was introduced earlier, but the Mega Buster, the Charge Shot, what was really big with Mega Man 4, still on the OG NES. And, like it had some pretty cool bosses. You had Skull Man, which was pretty rad, and Pharaoh Man was actually a really cool one too. But, again, for me, it was just it was introducing some new stuff, but I feel like introducing that charge shot, while it has become kind of a thing that everyone can, it's like, oh yeah, you charge your Buster and you get this big
Hmm.
shot. Like it's a normal thing now. I still like the mechanics of having just like your normal pea shooter and then really relying on the boss weapons that you get from beating the bosses in the Mega Man games to really like advance you through the game as opposed to just really sticking with with your regular Buster the whole time. So I think introducing it was like a cool mechanic, but ultimately I think it might have been you know a little detrimental to the series, which was really reliant on using boss weapons to like, kind of navigate your way through levels and bosses like later on. So
Mm.
again, like it did some cool things. It introduced some mechanics that are still around to this day. But ultimately, again, kind of middle of the road game for me there with Mega Man 4.
All right. And shall we move on to B?
Yeah, yeah. Let's move on
All
to
right.
B. These are okay. So now we're getting into games like I'm like getting pretty excited to talk about.
Okay. And,
Um,
and I want to mention we have the modern games on here still, which I'm somewhat surprised about in 10 and 11. So,
Yeah, no. So, and actually, we're about to talk about those. So, the
oh,
B
okay.
the B tier for me, the first one on that list is Mega Man 10. Mega Man 10 is the first one on the B tier. So this is a game that was released, at least in my head, not not that long ago. I would say it's like
Uh,
a modern NES version of Mega Man,
yeah.
which I was like super excited when nine did it first and then 10 did it again. Um, to me, this was the version of Mega Man that I want. Like, this is what I want to see with my original Mega Man series. Again, you get into like the Mega Man X series and the Zero series and all these other things. Feel free to do what you want, but when it's OG Mega Man releases, like, give me this type of game. So I, the thing I would say about this game, I mean, Sheep Man is one of the bosses. Sheep Man. I mean,
Sheep man. A
I don't think I
giant
need.
sheep?
Yeah, I don't think I need to say anything more than the fact that Sheep Man is a boss in one of these games. So, again, better than average Mega Man game, Mega Man 10. So, you want to play it, go play it. You'll have a ton of fun.
Yeah, and this one was actually very modern. March 1st, 2010, PS3, Xbox 360, and the Nintendo Wii, and it got an
Yep.
81 Metacritic score.
Yeah.
So
So I mean, I
that's not
think
bad.
yeah, So I think
That's a
that kind
solid
of falls.
position.
Yeah, that falls in line with kind of my own thoughts. And 80, 81 definitely sounds right to me. So I think I fall in line with most people about putting Mega Man 10 right around the B tier there.
All right. Was there another one?
Yeah, so one more in the tier, and I've got Mega Man 11, the most recent
Ooh,
release. I've got that in the B tier. This one was actually
dang.
like this one was interesting because it introduced a completely new mechanic to the Mega Man series. It's the double gear system. And I think it actually, to a lot of people, was a little bit more difficult than a lot of the other Mega Man games. Now, I think Mega Man games in general are considered, at least from like the casual gamer's perspective, to be like a little bit more on the difficult side. Like, some of the platforming can be really difficult, and if you're not familiar with how like the boss system works with, like, using boss weapons and like finding weaknesses and stuff, if you don't really understand how those mechanics work, then the Mega Man games can be pretty difficult. But 11 sort of upped the ante a little bit and introduced this new mechanic of this double gear system that it allows you to slow down and speed up time, and also to have like a more powerful version of your attack. So um, they're introducing those mechanics. I think inherently makes it more difficult because you have to figure out how all these systems work together to kind of get you through the game. And it was really fun and interesting to like see something new introduced like that. And I think to a large degree it was successful, but there certainly were some things about the game that I was like, God, like, even a little like too unforgiving in some circumstances, for me at
Mhm.
least. So, again, like, a very good game. One I would recommend people play if you're not familiar with the Mega Man series, like you, Ty, for instance.
Yeah,
This might actually be a pretty good entry point because you don't know any different,
and it's
right?
modern.
Yeah, yeah. It's modern. Like, like, they put a nice little polish on the graphics. It looks a little bit more like a Super Nintendo game than a regular NES game. Like 9 and 10 did. But no, I mean, still a very solid game. I have some hangups with it, but I really appreciated Capcom sort of taking a chance with some pretty new mechanics there.
All right. Yeah, that's well worthy because on Metacritic it's 82 and it released October 2nd, 2018 for the Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. So you can play
Hmm.
this on modern consoles,
Yeah.
as
Oh
it
yeah.
was. So
Yeah. And
obviously,
and
and go
I would
on.
say what's nice about that is you can play all of these games on modern
Yeah.
consoles, because not long ago, Capcom came out with the Legacy Collection for these
Yes.
games, and so any system you have right now, you should be able to play all of these games.
Yeah, actually, I'm pretty sure our very own Nick recently finished the Legacy Collection. He played like through all of them. I'm pretty sure that
Oh,
was on
what a
there. So
what a
what
good
a
time!
guy.
Yeah, what a good time that would be.
Yeah, something I should probably look into, but
Oh
here
yeah.
I
Oh, for sure,
am.
for sure.
All right, so A tier now, huh?
Yeah, we're getting to the cream of the
We're
crop
getting it.
here. We're
So
we're getting near the top. I've got two games in the A tier.
Oh man. Oh my
Uh,
god.
the first one is Mega Man 5. Mega Man 5.
Is it this cover that I'm touching right now? I like
No, that's
lost
Mega
track.
Man 3. That's
Oh,
Mega
that's
Man
3.
3.
Never mind. I
Yeah.
can't. All right, this is the one, the Game Boy one,
Well, so
right?
this
It
this
was
was
on Game Boy
originally
too.
it was on Game Boy, but it was original NES. Again, when I'm looking at these releases, I think about like were they originally released, and for 5
Right.
it was on the original Nintendo. So Mega Man 5. Mega Man 5 is so cool to me because um, it had sort of, when I talked earlier about Mega Man 4 and the introduction of the Mega Buster, they're still introducing these new mechanics in some of these games. Mega Man 5 didn't introduce any new mechanics. Um, to me, it just created like the best version of the new mechanics that had been introduced. And you also have bosses like Starman. Starman is one of the best stages and one of the best bosses in the Mega Man series to me. There are a couple more that I like more, but Starman was great. There are a couple other great bosses in there, but Mega Man 5 has, in my opinion, very few flaws, and that's what gets it to the A tier for me.
Okay. Sounds well worthy based on what you said. Now, do we have what's the other one? We have 3 remaining.
Yeah. There's another one in the A tier, and I, I'm gonna catch some flack for this, man. I
Uh-oh.
know it, but I've got to be
At the
true to
comment
myself.
section.
I know I got to be true to myself here. My second one in the A tier is Mega Man 3. So
Woo!
so a lot of people are going to tell you, that Mega Man 3 is like the apex of Mega Man, the Mega Man series. It introduces Rush. Rush is a robot dog that is with you for the rest of Mega Man. He's always around. It's actually it's
Mhm.
a really great mechanic, and I like how they introduce it there. They introduce like in usually you'll have the 8 robot bosses that you fight, and then you'll go to Wily's castle. Well, in Mega Man 3, they do this weird thing to me, but it was weird, but also cool, where they remix 4 of the stages, and they have like bosses throughout those stages. One is they bring back all 8 bosses from Mega Man 2 and put them into like a shell essentially. So you're basically fighting all the Mega Man 2 bosses in Mega Man 3 in this weird like remix stages from like the first 8 bosses. So it's really weird how they do that. God, it's kind of clunky to me.
Mhm.
It makes the game feel way longer than I think it needs to be, which is weird to say because generally speaking, I like long games. So, but games like Mega Man, I feel like you should be able to knock out within an hour or so. And it really is kind of a crushing difficulty curve going from your 8 bosses into these like remix stages. And then to me, like the Wily's Castle in Mega Man 3 is a lot easier than that part of it. So like there's this weird difficulty curve in that part of the game. But dude, I gotta say, the music for Mega Man 3 is
Oh,
top tier. It is
you have to,
so good.
yeah.
It's so good. The original bosses, like the original 8 robots masters that you fight in Mega Man 3. I mean, you have some killers. You got Snake Man, you got Magnet Man, you got Shadow Man. I mean, you got a whole bunch of like again S tier bosses in Mega Man 3. But taken as a whole,
Mhm.
taken as a whole, Mega Man 3 not quite as high on the list for me as it is probably for a lot of other Mega Man fans out there. And
Yeah.
I gotta respect. I know the
Hey,
Mega Man 3 love is out there, but again, this is my list, this is how I see it. So again, A tier. This is A tier.
that's
It's
still
nothing,
good though. You're
not
talking in the
bad.
90s. You're still
Yeah,
talking like 90s.
yeah,
And
not bad, but
yeah.
not quite at the top of the mountain for me.
Yeah, and you're entitled to your own opinion, so just remember that when commenting on this video, guys. So
Dude,
um
I'm gonna get killed in the comment. I know it already.
that's
I'm gonna
right.
get killed
I
in the
already got
comments, but
killed,
that's
so
okay.
it's all good. And you made a good point about music. Mega Man music is actually good because I've been to a few gaming concerts where they played Mega Man music and it's pretty good. Even though I never played the game, I kind of know kind of
Dude,
the music it brings.
Mega Man music, it's S tier music. Most of the
Yeah.
time, Mega Man is S tier music across the whole series of games. So, no, you can't go wrong dropping some Mega Man music when you're headed to the gym or something like that. So, really
Hell
good
yeah.
stuff.
All right. So, um,
All
next
right,
up.
so yeah, we got our S tier, and I'm gonna give you, my, I guess, what I would rank number two, and
Oh,
then what I would rank
oh,
number one.
oh. Okay. Never mind.
But
Okay.
so I'll say what I rank number two first. It's an S tier, but it's my second favorite Mega Man game, and that's Mega Man 9. Mega
Mega
Man
Man.
9
All
is
right. Your
S tier
second
for me.
favorite
My
one.
second
Okay.
favorite Mega Man game. So what was like super important for me here is, I mean, I've been a Mega, again, like I said, I've been a Mega Man fan my whole life. These games started coming out when I was a little kid, and Mega Man 9 is what I always viewed the original Mega Man series to be in my mind. So when they said that, oh my, I was so, dude, I can't tell you how excited I was when I heard that they were going to be coming out with Mega Man 9, and like the concept was going to be back, like the original Mega Man games. I was so excited. And like honestly, they delivered on just about every single level that I could have hoped for. They have some awesome stages in this game. Plant Man stage is so good. They have, the music is so good. Splash Woman's music,
Mm,
the music for that stage is incredible. Maybe not. It's in my top three for like all time like favorite Mega Man tracks. Splash Woman
wow.
stage, but no, they brought it back. They did it right, and to me, like that's what elevates it to that S tier because it was so important in how it reintroduced Mega Man to a new generation of fans and of gamers. Right. So when did this one come out exactly again?
2008
2008. Right. So
to
this is
2008. Yeah.
yeah, this is 30 years after the series started, right? It started in 87. This is in,
That is actually crazy.
or
But
20 years. I'm sorry, 20 years. So
yeah.
so this is 20 years after. So a whole generation, of players different. So I was so glad that they came out with this. I thought again, it's so good. Just every mechanic to me was solid, and the difficulty curve to me was solid. And some of the stages were absolutely incredible. The music was off the charts. So again, loved how they came out with it, how they did it. Mega Man 9, S tier for me.
All right. And then the
And
ultimate game. I
yeah,
had a
that
feeling
leads.
that you were gonna say this because I swear to God, I heard you say this before at like E3 while we're waiting online at Bethesda's like after party back years ago.
Yep, yep. We did talk about this. So and that was what, 2016 or
20
2017?
so 2016. Yeah, and then the next year we went again, and yeah, that
Yeah,
was a while
and
ago now.
my mind hasn't changed. So Mega Man 2 is maybe my favorite game of all time. It is maybe my favorite game of all time.
Wow,
I
that is
I,
saying a lot.
I know. There are. It's a contest for me in terms of favorite game of all time. But to me, this is absolutely the best Mega Man game from the original 1 through 11. It introduces the 8 robot masters that is used throughout the series, even across multiple series games, the X series, the games they got 8 bosses, and so it introduced a lot of the mechanics that are still with the series today. Um, and oh my gosh, let Robot Masters. You got Metal Man. Oh, Metal Man, and talk about the music for the stage. Metal Man, gosh, such a beast. I love that dude.
Hmm.
Quick Man, Flash Man, Wood Man, Crash Man. Did I say Crash Man already? Crash
Yeah,
Man
you
is so
might have.
good. I got to say it twice if I did. But no, like just the bosses are so great, and like what's really cool to me about it is all of the bosses, and this is true for all of the games, right? So, but I think it's implemented best here. Like they all have mechanics that they work within, right? And it's all about finding out, like what is the weakness that this boss has, and like how do you attack it. And I think two does a really good job of allowing you to figure it out and it not being too punishing. So a lot of people tell you at least a lot of Mega Man fans, probably tell you that Mega Man 2 is the one of the easier games in the series, and I would tend to agree with that. You can actually on my YouTube channel that I did a long time ago, I did a
Shady
playthrough.
09, right?
No.
No, I was just
We're not going to shout
okay.
it out, but I'll just it's
Oh,
out
okay,
there.
okay.
If
All
people
right.
want to try and find it, good luck. But I did a playthrough of Mega Man 2 on there, a no death playthrough. I was very proud of that, by the way, because I'm really just a casual, right? Like I'm not speed running these games. I'm not
No.
professing to be the best at them, but I managed a no death run of Mega Man 2. But like it's it's comfort food. It's gaming comfort food. It
Mm.
feels so good to play. It feels so good to hear the music. And you know, I will admit some of this has to do with like taking me back to the good old days when I was a kid and like experiencing those kind of moments for the first time. But I mean, God, you fight a freaking dragon boss in Dr. Wily's castle. It takes up the whole stage, and it's like at the end of this chase, it's so cool. Um, and no, man, Airman. I haven't even talked about Airman.
Oh man.
Airman's music is such a jam. Oh my gosh. But no, like Mega Man 2 for me, the absolute pinnacle of like gaming. It's you know, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but for me, like when I want to like sit down, I'm like, man, what do I want to do? Mega Man 2 is like always the right answer. I've never played it and had been like, oh man, what a waste of time. So good, crisp, crisp platforming mechanics, and like you know, just like games like Mario, right? Like you need to have like
Yeah.
really solid platforming mechanics to make those games good. And you know, again, I mean, if we did a Mario one, again, I think everyone will say Mario 3 is like at the pinnacle of that as well, and I would agree.
Probably.
And I think it's because to a large degree, like it introduced a lot of stuff, but the platforming is just so on point. And you know, for me, like the original Mega Man, which you know, again, sadly, I have down at the bottom there, but some of the platforming it was like kind of floaty, and it was hard to really like have full control of your character. And Mega Man 2, I mean that dude doesn't move a millimeter without you having done it yourself, right? So like it's such crisp mechanics in terms of platforming, and just the best. It's the best, man. So yeah, S tier for me. You got Mega Man 9 up there, but Mega Man 2, one of my favorite games of all time, maybe my favorite. Boy, that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's how I see it right there. Oh gosh, it pains me to see anything in the F tier or even D because
I know, but
honestly, I like all of these games for different reasons and stuff. But no, that's your tier list for Mega Man right there.
yeah, and without Mega Man 2, you don't get Mega Man 1, right? Or does that make
Well,
sense?
and
But yeah.
what's crazy about it is, I mean, if you want to talk Mega Man history, like Mega Man 1 did like okay, and Capcom didn't think that they were going to get a chance to make another Mega Man, but the guys behind the games were like, no, like we've got to like do this, we've got to continue this concept on. So Mega Man 2 was almost like a passion project of Capcom developers. Like I don't even think it was actually like commissioned to be made until the developers like came to them with essentially a completed game. Was like, hey guys, like we think you should give this a shot. And you know, and then Mega Man 2 did great. Obviously, led to Mega Man 3, which I think cemented Mega Man as like as a premier what do you call it? It's a premier series for Nintendo. But
Yeah.
Mega Man 2 like almost didn't even happen. It was just because a couple of the developers there believed they had something, and in their own time were developing this game. I'm pretty sure that's how it worked. But no, and I think too that's why it's like so great to me is because it is, you can tell that it was a passion project and not just something that you know people were thrown on. Hey, we're going to do this game. Who wants to work on it, right? But this is something they felt really strongly about. And again, I can't say it enough. The music for that game is so banger. Like, oh,
Yeah.
so good. But yeah, there you go, man. That's what I got for you today.
Yep. So that's the tier list for Mega Man 1 through 11. Let us know in the comments what you think of this tier list and what you may disagree with or agree with. And remember, you are entitled to your own opinion, and Scott here is. So thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and we'll see you guys next time.